Oh, it's from the tone-deaf bard.
Ah, welcome back, old friend. And how should I be addressing you these days? The honorary knight of Mondstadt? The Tumaini of Natlan? Or the great hero of Nodcraft?
Well, you sure have your finger on the pulse. We've barely caught our breath since Not Cry, but...
News travels fast on the wind. But before I can turn your tales into tunes, I need to hear them from the horse's mouth. My wine and my lyre are at the ready. So... Amazing! Incredible! The Rahier of Solnari and the Doctor? So I'm guessing the wild hunt is a thing of the past now that...
Seems that way. We were kind of focused on dealing with the Doctor, though.
Well, that's good to hear. Hey, now that the Northern Abyss calamity is finally resolved, Varka must be getting ready for the triumphant return of his I haven't seen him in the longest time.
Right! Paimon was wondering about that, too. He did call you Barbados.
Let's call it half asleep. I was resting my eyes in the Thousand Winds Temple one day when I heard a commotion outside. It was a young knight who had journeyed there in search of trials and oracles after hearing some tall tales at the local tavern. In fact, all that awaited him were moss-covered walls and an angry ruin guard. But he seemed completely unfazed, laughing heartily as he sent the ruin guard's missiles flying off into the horizons.
Huh! They must have been making quite a racket if it was a...
Yeah, it's...
Hey! Whoa, bring it on.
like that.
Giving up already? Hey, you're not
A young knight of Favonius trekking out to the Thousand Winds Temple in search of adventure.
A bard in green clothes. I was just wondering I was gonna...
Oh! So you were looking for the tone-deaf bard?
Hold on. Blonde hair, white hair. You must... Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Lowen, Vice Captain of the 5th Company of the Knights of Favonius and a member of the Expeditionary Force.
Oh, so you're part of the expedition, huh? Right! So that's why Paimon's never seen you around in Mondstadt.
That's probably because when the Wild Hunt was still running rampant, I spent most of my time out on my own, making mincemeat out of monster. Then, once the Wild Hunt calmed down, I got sent back to Mondstadt. Mixed blessing, if you ask me.
No wonder we never saw you while we were dealing with the Doctor. So, why did Varka send you back?
Deliver some letters. There's one for the Knights of Favonius, one for the church, another for the Dawn Winery, at least 10 of them in total.
Jeez! How many people has he sent to deliver his mail now? Mika, Inefa, Lowen. In fact, he's earned himself a new nickname. Let's go with... Sir Writes a Lot!
I'll have you know that poetry and letters were humanity's earliest means of So, tone deaf or not, I wear the title of Bard with pride.
Wait, really? Darn it! Maybe...
Anyway, since this young man has come all the way to the Thousand Winds Temple looking for me, I assume he must have a letter from...
You sure are. To use the Grand Master's own words.
This one is for the bard in green clothes. These days, doesn't really have an address as such. You could start by asking around in Mondstadt.
I figured that since there was this punching bag here, Ruin Guard, I could get some practice in while I was at it. So...
That Varka is so slapdash sometimes.
Oh, he also said to remind you to write back.
Nothing in particular. Just some idle chatter between two drinking buddies. Varka gave you a whole bunch of letters to deliver, right? Maybe you can head into Mondstadt and deliver the rest of them.
My thoughts exactly. Assuming I can find the way. Hopefully the roads haven't changed too much since...
Well, why don't we have Mondstadt's honorary knight escort this homeward-bound wanderer to the city?
I'm sure. Let's go! It's been a while since Paimon's...
Thank you so much, honorary knight. And...
The Abyss. The Wild Hunt. Get home safe, Varka.
Why do my ears feel so hot all of a sudden? Surely there's no way anyone found the secret stash of cash in my office.
Grandmaster! Bad time to get distracted.
Watch out! Enemies approaching!
Huh? Oh, it's just a few stragglers. This expedition is almost over. We just need to deal with these final few We will make our triumphant...
Without the Rapier of Solnari to direct them, it seems like all that's left is...
If this is all that the Wild Hunt can muster now, surely the Lightkeepers of Nodcry will be able to deal with what's...
Just like I thought. What we should be wearing...
Grandmaster, based on Lightkeeper intel and our own reconnaissance, one of the suspected targets should...
Good. You know the drill. Stay here and stand guard.
Yes, Grandmaster!
We meet again, Andreas.
So, you've returned from Mondstadt. Don't you want to see what it looks like now? I was planning to take a look around there myself. Perhaps you could be my guide.
What's this? An echo from 1,000 years ago? Everything seems normal so far. Here's hoping I'm just overthinking things. There are 2 other places to check. It's your turn, my friend. Come, Andreas!
Although, for returning to your old home, perhaps Andreas is a little too might be better to go by...
Boreas.
Huh?
Injustice. Corruption. Iniquity. Is the surface world still as wretched and foul as ever? Answer me, heir to the knighthood of Boreas.
Looks like I'm not getting out of this without a fight. That's where things stand with the expedition. The victors will be returning home soon, so... P.S. I hope everyone's keeping up with their daily training. I'll be testing P.P.S. I wrote individual letters for each and every one of you. Don't forget to write back.
Everyone gets one? Wow!
I guess the Grand Master must have something specific to say to even I got a letter, and I'm not a real
Jean?
Oh, yes. That's our grand...
By the way, anyone know where I can find the cavalry captain?
You mean Kaya? He said he was meeting a friend from the allegedly for work. Said he was exchanging intel.
I'm on bets there'll be lots of familiar faces there. How about we deliver Kaya's letter?
Really? Oh, that would be a great help, thank you.
Our thanks to you too, Lowen. The other knights will help distribute the remaining letter.
Great, but I won't be resting just yet. I have one last letter to deliver to Wolvendom. I heard that another challenger recently passed Boreas's trial. Well, with any luck.
Very well, but please remember to show respect to the local wolves.
I will. Goodbye.
Honorary Knight, you're still here?
Huh? But Varka's coming back. The situation in Nokrai is stable.
True. From what you and Lowen have told me, it seems that Mondstadt no longer faces any threat from the perils of the North, be they the Wild Hunt or the Doctor. And yet, for some reason, I can't help but recall something the Grandmaster said.
If I don't make it back from this expedition, you'll have to assume the mantle of Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius. If it comes to that, remember to train the next Knight of Boreas in my stead. I've planted some promising seeds in Mondstadt. Some have yet to master the art of social interaction. Some don't yet understand that they too need protecting. And some, well, what's wrong? Well, there's no need to frown. I'm going on an expedition, not marching to my death. Until I return, I leave them in your care.
The lineage of the Knights of Boreas has nearly been extinguished twice in Mondstadt's history. The first wandering knight to claim the title arrived in Mondstadt 1,000 years ago. He was as free as the wind. He left no succession plan behind. Even his name was lost to history. The title of Boreas could have disappeared from Mondstadt just as he did, but he had an informal disciple, a knight named Ravenwood, who admired the Knight of Boreas greatly. Ravenwood's valor and swordsmanship earned him the Wolf Spirit's recognition. When the old aristocracy tried to regain power, Ravenwood came once more to Mondstadt's defense. From then on, the title of Knight of Boreas was passed down from generation to generation.
Wolf spirit? You mean that big blue wolf?
Correct. As you may already know, the Wolf of the North is the surviving spirit of an ancient god, and the Knight of Boreas serves as an intermediary between him. Lupus Boreas, who had never known what it meant to love, came to understand it through the journey with his human companion. This was once a well-known tale in Mondstadt, but these days, few people are aware that the starting point of the Wolf King's journey was not Mondstadt, but Nokrai.
Huh?
The great Wolf King of the North came here from Nokrai. Although he doesn't like to speak of his past, as such, This tale can only be found deep within the Knights of Favonius library. The Grand Master didn't disclose any concrete objectives before departing on his expedition. I couldn't help but wonder whether it might somehow be related to Nodcry's Wolf of the North. I kept my speculations to myself, however. Sharing them would only spread unwarranted suspicion toward the Four Winds among the people of... You experienced the turmoil caused by Duval and the East Wind's actions for yourself.
No wonder Varka wasn't clear about his motives.
Very possibly. He was probably also reserving judgment. Having heard about your experiences in Nodcry, I now suspect that the Grand Master hadn't yet ascertained the true identity of... And as it turns out, the Calamity born in the North wasn't an ancient god, but rather the Wild Hunt and the Doctor. Yes, I completely agree. The tide can turn rapidly in times of battle, even if his contingency plan never needs to be put into action. I'm sure the Grand Master is relieved to know that...
That turned into a pretty long conversation, huh? We should probably go deliver those letters to the Angel Share now.
When you're mixing drinks in hot weather, start by pouring in cold water and add ice cubes. Then drain out the water before adding the other ingredients.
Please. I've known that little trick for a good 10 years at least.
I know there's no one else in the tavern right now, but do you two really need to talk so loudly?
Kaya! Rosaria! Diluc!
Looks like it's about to get even noisy.
A little liveliness never killed anyone.
Please allow me to once again express my sincere condolences regarding your late father and the incident. I hope you will give some serious consideration to the question I asked you before I left, though I'm sure you're tired of hearing me ask by now.
From the look on your face, I'm guessing the Grand Master is still refusing to drop it?
He nags like an old man.
Huh? Drop what?
Nothing, really. Before leaving on the expedition, Varka came here to chat with me over a drink. He, asked me if I'd consider rejoining the Knights of Favonius, and I declined. He expressed his regret about everything that happened, and asked me to reconsider.
You skipped a lot of detail.
Whatever details I chose to omit are in the past.
You say that now, but back then, you couldn't let it go.
I wasn't seeing the full picture. I've had a lot of time to... But my answer remains unchanged. Both the Grandmaster and the acting Grandmaster are too upright and honorable. I can't see the shadows that lurk beneath them due to the size of the organization they lead.
If I had a Mora for every time I've heard you repeat that argument. I just really don't disagree with the first part of what you said.
When you join an organization, you're bound by its rules, no matter how free it may seem on the surface.
You think so? Never mind the Knights. Have you honestly ever been bound by the rules of the Church?
Good question. Have you considered that maybe that's why I chose to join the Church and not the Knights to begin?
Are they arguing or not? Oh, kinda like the contingencies Jean was talking about.
What should I report back to the Grand Map? Public order inside the city? Monster activity in the wild? Oh.
My reply won't be a long one. As
If you hadn't had to deliver that guy's mail, you wouldn't have been subjected to all this tedious arguing.
It's no trouble. Lowen did most of the work. We just volunteered to do the last leg of the journey.
So you see what's really going on here?
Huh? Scheme? What do you mean?
No. While I'm sure Varka knows full well that Diluc would never agree to rejoin the Knights, there are people like Kaya and I. And then there are those who are true champions of justice to the core. Those people are the most susceptible to being driven to extremes by great Not only that, but it happened to a Knight of Boreas. That'll really hit home for Varka. And that's... yeah. So no one's told you this before? The lineage of the Knights of Boreas had nearly been extinguished twice in history.
Oh! Wasn't Jean telling us about this? Wait, and then we got caught up talking about the expedition.
I happened to hear about it from Varka once when he was drinking and started yammering on. Although the Knights of Boreas are meant to be intermediaries between humans and wolves, in practice, very few of them have been truly recognized by Lupus Boreas. Of those who have, the best known are the first Knight of Boreas. But 500 years ago, there was one who earned the respect of Boreas. He was a disciple of Rostam. They thought he would become the mightiest Knight of Boreas He was the perfect knight. Righteous, principled.
Yikes! Bloodstained Knight?
Well, apparently his original title was the White, but he lost countless comrades during the Abyssal Calamity 500 years. The endless bloodshed stained his sword and armor a crimson as... After that, he threw himself completely into battling monsters, leaving Mondstadt and the Knights of Favonius behind. It's hard to say whether the loss of an important figure in his life is what drove him to the point of obsession, but had he known that the Knights of Favonius would always welcome him back. So if you want my opinion, the reason why Varka keeps asking Diluc to rejoin, despite knowing that he'll never say yes, is to let him know you're not... After all these years, he's still as persistent as ever.
Huh. Turns out Varka's a lot more thoughtful than he lets... Anyway, there's still something about this whole Boreas business that Paimon isn't really getting. If so, why did Jean say that Boreas and the Wandering Knight only arrived here just 1,000 years ago? Plus, that's a great idea! Jean said he hasn't been showing himself much lately, but he... What's going on here? Was Bulbum the Wild Hunt? What are they doing here? Watch out! Shadow Raven! Let night fall! By royal decree!
Time for retribution! Midnight Phantasmagoria! Predictors?
Odds revealed by... By royal decree... Decided by destiny. Delve into destiny. Let the show be...
Time for retribution!
Oz, reveal by... Don't worry about me. Let me scry. Wings of darkness! Fate is upon you!
Retribution!
Oh no! What now? You scared...
Stop right there! Answer me this. The two letters I...
2 letters? Wasn't it 3?
Okay. Well, Paimon's coolest naive expression doesn't appear to be an act.
Hey! What are you trying to say? Paimon passed a test?
You may dispense with your suspicions. The wolf pack has borne witness. They fought against the aberrations that encroached upon this land. A familiar scent.
Well, if the boss of Wolvendom has vouched for you, I guess I should apologize for doubt. Sure was. Fortunately, my experience in Nodcry didn't go to waste. Something seems wrong with that old wolf, though.
Let's dance.
Lupus Boreas, not injured.
You are not to blame. With your Iron Claw, you successfully blocked their attacks. They followed my trail from the distant north across the ley lines. We meet again, human Lupicon.
So, are you saying that the wild hunt we just got attacked by came all the way from Nodcry to Mondstadt?
As you know, I stand before you as an incomplete being. The source of this turmoil. I can sense it. It lies in the north. It is the part of me that remains in Nodcry.
Huh? Now Paimon's even more confused.
For many gods, housing a part of their soul within an object is no difficult feat. But those who can perform such delicate partitions as this are rare, even among the gods. The Wolf King, Andrius, was particularly adept in this art. Otherwise, no remnants of his soul would have survived till the present day.
Huh? The bard?
Tone-deaf bard?
Maybe the god of Animo guided me here. For it appears that someone is in need of a tale from the distant past. Who better than a bard to do the honors? Lord Lupus Boreas wandered the frozen tundra and stumbled into the Seelie Hall. Enchanted by their song, tender as the dawn starlight, and curious about the ways of humankind, the wolf bade farewell to his home and set off for the city. As the high tower crumbled and the fierce winds fell silent, Lupus Boreas, who once had hunted with the storm winds himself, looked within and inquired, was the shelter he provided for humanity really any different from that? given by the reclusive king in his tower, the wolf entrusted those under his protection to a new god and quietly returned to the frozen north. There, in a palace long since abandoned by its former master, the great wolf closed his eyes and slept. 500 bitter winters passed, then 500 equally frigid springs. He slumbered undisturbed until a night stumbled in from the cold. Just as Lupus Boreas had once done at the Sealy Hall, the knight asked the wolf to join him on a journey south, to see once more the land that had all but faded from his memory. The gentle wolf, unwilling to refuse the human's earnest plea, split his soul into 2 halves and left his home once more. Seeing how the ice and snow had given way to verdant plains, hearing the laughter and song that now filled the once somber city, the aging Lupus Boreas turned to his friend, the god of Animo, and remarked, "So, this is the world the humans dreamed of." Though the knight's journey was not yet over, the wolf chose to bid farewell to his companion here. He had written the end to his story. What knowledge he had been gifted flowed into the land. Everything he was, he gave unto the world. Well, that's how a bard would tell the tale.
There is no need for you to ask that question.
So that's what happened. You returned to Mondstadt with that night 1,000 years?
You need not feel remorse on my... If anyone should feel regret, it is the part of me who remained in Notcry. That is surely why those vile aberrations were able to exploit his weakness.
But we followed Boreas' trail in Nodcry.
Andreas should still be slumbering by the lakeside. Perhaps all the recent turmoil in Notcry has had unforeseen consequences. And there's more. I detect another familiar scent from across the ley lines.
Oh, the White Knight who became the Bloodstained Knight? The mightiest knight of Boreas? But wasn't he from 500 years ago?
I remember him as just a man. His lifespan should be no longer than any other of his kind. It was the ancient kingdom of Conria, as you call it.
If you want to get to the bottom of this, I'm afraid you'll have to make another trip to Nodcry yourselves. As luck would have it, another old friend of ours just so happens to be free right now. If you ask him nicely, he might give you a lift.
No wonder I can suddenly sense the east winds.
If even Mondstadt has been affected by the fallout, Nodcry must be in real trouble by now.
Varka, is he...
I believe too many passengers would slow our dear friend down.
All right. Wish it could be me, but I accept that we should send our strongest war. I'll stay here and deal with any wild hunt that try harassing monsters.
I stay in Mondstadt too.
Razor, give me your iron claw. Golden-haired traveler, give this token to the current knight of Boreas. It is a wolf spirit. It contains my power and thoughts.
The Dominator of Wolves once bestowed the power of his soul upon his pack, strengthening their hearts and sharpening their claws.
But human hearts and flesh cannot bear the soul of a wolf directly to prevent the entanglement of souls. The most I can do is temporarily house my power and thoughts within. Although, truth be told, that knight does not lack for power. The great wolf king of the north remains strong for now.
I will protect Lupakal. The north and Varka?
Just give me the word whenever you're ready. Any questions before you set off? Better ask now. You'll probably have to hit the ground running when you get to Nod. The root of this turmoil lies with the remnant soul that Andreas, he once left Nodcry and braved the blizzards to confront the god of storms and claim the right to rule. Yet instead, he returned to the north and slumbered for 1,000 years, before finally journeying back, under the name of Boreas, with the first night of Boreas to witness the new face of when the wolf spirit could no longer maintain his physical form. Boreas chose to pour his power into the ley lines. With that, he became the North Wind of Mondstadt. Any questions before you set off? Better. All right. Over to you, Dvalin.
The Knight of Boreas awaits below. We must part ways here.
All right. Hey, wait. How are we getting down?
Hold the line! The enemy's on the brink of collapse!
Grandmaster!
Haha! Reinforcements! It's about time!
And Paimon too!
We're just about hanging in there. Most of their grunts are taken care of now. Fight or flight?
As expected, this hastily summoned Wild Hunt horde is nothing but a disorganized rabble. But they have served their purpose. I now understand your tactics, and you, in turn, understand mine. Farewell, heir to the knighthood of Boreas. Whether you choose to resist me or not, I shall set right the injustices of this world.
Guess they're retreating for now.
So that Wolf of the North lookalike, that was Andreas? Ugh, forget that. We can save the details for later. He was the enemy boss, right?
There's no point chasing after him. We've crossed blades already, and it ended in a stalemate. True. We're still not certain of his true identity, but whether he's a god corrupted by the Abyss or a legendary knight, killing him might be just about possible. The difficult part is, we can't kill him right now.
Huh? What do you mean?
No. Judging from our skirmishes so far, I don't think he's got any special abilities of that caliber. Nor does he have the ridiculous level of power wielded by the Five Sinners. But, compared to Rerir, our current foe clearly has a better understanding of how to exploit Nodcry to his advantage. Particularly when it comes to Andreas' remnant soul. Exactly. Sounds like you realize what the crux of the issue is. I managed to cut off a sample from our foe, which Albedo and Durin are analyzing as we speak. Meanwhile, our other allies should be making their way home from their own battles by now. We still have some big challenges ahead before this expedition can...
I don't need an umbrella, but you can use one if you need.
The meeting's probably gonna be in the biggest tent, right? Looks like a bunch of people are there already. Why don't we go chat with them?
Hey, Honorary Knight. Looks like pretty much Albedo and Durin are just wrapping up their analysis. Great. While we're waiting, could you... And that's where things stand. The Wild Hunt is no longer under the Reikir of Solnari's control. Intel from the Frostmoon Scions and the Curatorium of Secrets corroborates this. No disturbances have been detected in the space where Rerir resides.
Summarizing current situation. To confirm, the present leader of the Wild Hunt is the creature resembling a wolf.
More precisely, it's the external will that has seized control of Andrias' spirit.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. I'm completely lost. How'd he suddenly get wrapped up with a god from 1,000 years in the past? And
Allow us to explain that part. Are you familiar with compensation mechanisms? When an organism sustains damage, relevant tissues will undergo changes to offset the loss of function. For example, when one kidney is damaged, the other will be strengthened to compensate. Or, when a main artery is blocked, the collateral vessels become more active. Similarly, when the Wild Hunt lost their leader, the Abyss harnessed the memories that flow throughout the ley lines to fashion a new one. That new leader is a mirror image of Roland, the Bloodstained Knight.
Right. No matter how strong the compensation is, it will never quite match the functionality of the original organ. The Roland replica can't possibly imitate Barrier's overwhelming power. So, the Abyss made use of the connection between Roland and Boreas to compensate for this lack of power.
The replica corrupted and took control of Andrias as he slumbered by the bank of Eimsvartnir. However, exactly why the Abyss chose Roland to mimic, and indeed how it was
I guess he must have gotten caught up with the Abyss or Nodcry somehow during his...
Okay, Paimon gets all that, but what did you mean when you said we can't?
We can't kill him right now because a dead god may prove more dangerous than a living one. From intelligence gathered during the expedition, we have reason to believe that the power released when a god is felled can have catastrophic consequences for us mortals. Worse still, the wrath that remains after a god's passing becomes a source of endless turmoil. Once god remains contaminate the land, this land has already been ravaged by the Wild Hunt. If we add god remains to the mix, it'd be like adding salt to an open wound.
Query. While I can indeed find records of disasters caused by god remains in my database, there also appear to be cases of gods dying naturally with no ill in that land. The passing of the Pyro-Archon's flame is a common occurrence throughout history, and even the part of Andrias who remains in Mondstadt has experienced death once before.
Great question. Glad you asked. Honorary Knight, you said Lupus Boreas gave you a token to pass on to me? Come forth, Boreas!
This form has come to the end of its time. My soul will fall into silence, and my power will flow into the ley lines of this land. Do not grieve for me, for this is the end I have chosen. A final wish before I slumber. Sing me a song.
You saw it too. You must have keen powers of perception. Not that it surprises me. That was Boreas' final thoughts before merging with the ley lines. It's the reason Mondstadt remains unharmed by his god remain. In his final moments, he made a choice to give everything he was to the ley lines.
Sounds like Andrias spent thousands of years searching for his place in the world.
Yes. And now our task is to return the answer he found. Only then can he break free from the corruption and control of the Abyss, and make that decision once more.
I see. I would say that planting thoughts inside the mind of a god sounds a little far-fetched, but since it was his own wish to begin with...
Wait, we already have a perfect solution? Then why are we even having this meeting?
Ha ha ha. If only it were that simple. Unfortunately, this one thought alone is unlikely to be powerful enough to break through the Abyss's control and reach Andrias' heart. We need to find a way to make the thought within this sword stronger.
For now, Boreas needs all his remaining strength to fight against the abyssal corruption to Mondstadt's... However, since his form was unstable during his journey with the first Knight of Boreas, many wolf spirit fragments were left behind. If we can collect those fragments, we can use them to strengthen the decision to merge with the...
So we need to retrace his steps and look for random fragments? But They could be anywhere between Notcry and
You don't need to worry about that. There's a few fragments left to gather in Notcry, but apart from that, most of them are already inside this sword. I've been collecting them during the whole
Huh? Wait.
I mean, it's an expedition, not a stroll in the park. Each step of the way, we've been hard at work planning for every possible... Not just the wild hunt in the abyss, but ancient gods remaining in Notcry.
Sounds like this plan was a long time in the making.
As a matter of fact, I did. I caught a glimpse of fate's reflection. But I can't take credit for it. It was all thanks to the help of a few friends. Still, all I foresaw was that an abyssal calamity was brewing in the north. Had I known more, we could have saved a lot of energy. Instead, we've had to make best guesses, prepare for every possible scenario. If all that preparation went to waste, all the better for it. Sure is. Just one crucial step remains. We need to gather the last few wolf spirit fragments scattered around Notcry, and use them to make the thought within this sword as strong. According to what Boreas told me before we left Mondstadt, his form was at its most unstable at the beginning of his journey. That means the fragments here should be the most powerful ones. But of course, we've been tied up fighting battles since the day we set foot in Notcry. First with the Wild Hunt, then with the Doctor. So, it wasn't until recently that we were finally able to confirm the status of the wolf spirit fragments.
Okay, so 3 more mini expeditions to go.
I managed to gather one fragment before Roland reappeared. I also have a confirmed location for the second, which I'll take care of in short order. As for the third fragment, we've identified a general search area to focus on, but we'll need all hands on deck to pinpoint the exact location. The final snag is that since our foe is a replica of Roland, he too will be aware of Andrias' history. He's sure to try and sabotage our plans by any means at his disposal.
With our foe being from Mondstadt, it's our duty as Mondstadters to defeat him.
And since the Wild Hunt is involved, the Lightkeepers will provide their full support.
The Clink Clink Crumbkake craft shop will also help in any...
So what do they need me here for? Wait, I think maybe I signed a
Ah, great. Knew I could count on you all. Lastly, our friend from the Curatorium of Secrets will provide intel and relay battlefield communications.
So, you'll be darting back and forth across the battlefield, dodging the Wild Hunt and the shadow of an ancient god.
Rating for Yehoda updated. Higher quality ingredients will be used to prepare your future meals.
Darn it! I shouldn't...
I'll deal with the second wolf spirit fragment, which we already know the location of. The moment you make any progress with Fragment 3, be sure to give me an update. Traveler, could you join me in retrieving Fragment 2? I have a feeling that your unique constitution might come... All right, time is of the essence. Let's move out, people.